You know that feeling? The clock hits 5 p.m., or maybe, your last Slack message is sent. You physically leave the building, or maybe just close your laptop lid. But the work, the tension, that endless list of what-ifs and should-haves, it doesn't stay put.
Yep.
It hops in the car with you, follows you into the kitchen, and insists on replaying in your mind just as you're trying to finally relax. That inability to truly switch off, that feeling of your brain still buzzing with the day's demands. We've all been there, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's the modern bind, isn't it? Our physical location changes, but the mental weight, it can feel stubbornly anchored.
Yeah.
The pressures, the interpersonal dynamics, the sheer volume of tasks, they just have a way of clinging to our minds long after the formal workday, concludes.
Absolutely. And that stickiness is exactly what we're diving into today. We've gone through a whole collection of insights, everything from clinical research and established health guides to incredibly candid personal accounts and shared experiences. Our focus, uncovering how we can effectively unwind and truly de-stress after a demanding workday.
And our mission in this deep dive is really to explore this whole range of perspectives, looking at strategies that touch on our physical state, our mental landscape, our emotional responses, and even, the environments we inhabit.
Right.
We want to pull out the most actionable techniques and hopefully discover some surprising insights that offer maybe a fresh way of approaching this very common challenge. It's about giving you the tools to become well-informed on building that crucial boundary.
So consider this your guide to understanding the why and the how behind letting go, drawing from a wealth of different experiences and expert views. Let's unpack how this work stress manages to follow us home in the first place.
Yeah, it's quite subtle sometimes, isn't it? We don't always notice it happening until we're deep into the evening, still mentally wrestling with the day.
And it often starts the moment the formal workday ends. Think about the commute home. It should be this potential buffer, right? This transition zone where you can decompress and switch gears.
But for so many of us, especially if you're stuck in traffic or dealing with packed public transport, that time becomes a pressure cooker.
Totally.
Instead of winding down, your mind immediately defaults to rehashing the day. You're replaying that awkward conversation, worrying about the email you didn't send, or stressing about the looming deadline tomorrow.
It's like your brain is determined to give you a director's cut of everything that went wrong, or is still unresolved.
Yeah.
And the sources we looked at are clear. This doesn't just keep the stress alive, it can actually magnify it.
Right. Magnify.
You can arrive home feeling more tense, more stressed than you did walking out the office door. It's a genuine missed opportunity to downshift.
And that magnified stress doesn't just disappear when you walk through your front door. It immediately starts impacting your personal life. A classic example is venting to loved ones.
Oh, yeah. It feels necessary, right?
Yeah.
You need to unload.
Totally understandable. It's a go-to way to process things for many people. But when your precious quality time with your partner, your family, your friends becomes primarily about dissecting work frustrations, well, the job is essentially stealing time from your personal life.
Good way to put it.
You're sacrificing moments that could be filled with genuine connection, shared laughter, or just simple, peaceful relaxation. One point highlighted in the sources is a seemingly simple truth. The less time you spend complaining about work, the more time you have available for things that actually bring you joy.
Easy to say.
Much harder to practice consistently.
Yeah. And it's not always about the big picture problems either. Sometimes it's the smaller irritations that are the stickiest, like ruminating about difficult coworkers.
Oh, definitely.
The offhand comment, the perceived slight, the frustration with someone's incompetence. Your brain just fixates.
Precisely. Spending mental energy dwelling on stress caused by colleagues can truly deplete the joy from your personal life. Constantly replaying interactions or even just having them occupy headspace keeps that stress loop running outside of work hours. It uses up mental resources that should be focused on your well-being, your relationships, your non-work interests.
And then there's the inability to just stop worrying, especially if you have a demanding job or if you work remotely and the lines are, super blurred. That problem-solving part of your brain just struggles to switch off. You might find yourself troubleshooting work issues while you're making dinner or trying to watch a show.
Right. Now, if your work is truly a passion, a calling, thinking about work problems might genuinely feel stimulating or even enjoyable sometimes. That's fair.
Sure.
But it crosses a line when it leads to stress and rumination, actively interfering with your ability to relax, be present, and crucially, to sleep.
Sleep. Sleep difficulties were a recurring theme across the sources as a major consequence of not unwinding.
Huge one.
Your mind is stuck on repeat, going over conversations, imagining alternative scenarios, and you just can't quiet it down enough to fall asleep or stay asleep.
And this inability to disconnect and truly unwind creates this ripple effect. Higher overall stress levels day to day, increasing the risk of burnout down the road, and a noticeable decline in overall happiness and life satisfaction. If work stress is constantly present, it touches everything.
And if any of this sounds familiar, the sources offer a crucial perspective. You are absolutely not alone in this struggle.
Not at all.
Bringing work stress home is incredibly common in our culture. This isn't about blaming yourself for not being able to switch off perfectly. It's about acknowledging that this is a challenge many face and shifting the focus to actively learning and practicing ways to let it go.
Exactly. So, if the problem is work stress following us, the path forward, according to our sources, involves creating an intentional separation, a deliberate transition zone.
It's about building that mental and physical boundary.
That's it. And one of the first strategies highlighted is about setting the stage before you even leave work, tying up loose ends.
That feels counterintuitive, right? Like, shouldn't I just sprint for the exit the second I can?
Right. Yeah, it feels like that. But it's less about finishing everything and more about preparing for tomorrow so you don't carry the worry home. Creating a short, focused to-do list for the next day can be incredibly effective.
Okay.
It gives you a clear starting point for your return, but more importantly, it helps your brain feel like the current day's tasks are acknowledged and completed for now. You've kind of downloaded the worries onto a list for future you to handle.
Okay. So it's a way of telling your brain, okay, this is noted, we can park it until tomorrow, like giving it permission.
Precisely, permission. And for those prone to having unsolved problems cling to their minds, one source suggested a brain dump.
A brain dump.
Yeah, just writing down the problem, maybe outlining potential solutions, or even just acknowledging the complexity on paper can help your mind feel permission to set it aside until the next workday. It's a physical act that supports mental release.
Giving your brain that explicit permission to disengage. Okay, I like that. And once you've done that, the next step is often to actively mark the transition from workspace to personal space. Yeah. This is where post-work rituals come into play.
Rituals. They're incredibly powerful psychological tools. Just like a bedtime routine signals it's time to sleep, a post-work ritual signals to your body and mind that the work phase is over and it's time to transition and relax.
Makes sense.
With practice, it can become almost automatic.
What kind of rituals are we talking about? Does it need to be elaborate, like a whole ceremony?
Not at all. The sources emphasize that simplicity is key, as long as it's consistent. It could be something as small as taking a deep, cleansing breath as you step out the door or close your laptop.
Okay.
Shaking out your limbs, feeling the physical release of tension. One powerful symbolic act mentioned was mentally visualizing yourself, leaving burdens at the door or the threshold of your home.
I like that visual, consciously shedding the weight.
Yes. Or it could involve a simple positive reframing. Taking a moment to mentally list one or two things you're looking forward to in the evening. Or something as straightforward as sending a quick text to a loved one as you leave work to immediately shift your focus towards your personal connections.
So it's about intentionally creating a cue that signals the shift, and finding what feels authentic and effective for you is the key, then making it a regular habit.
Absolutely. And that commute we discussed as a stress magnifier.
Yeah.
The sources suggest actively reframing it as an opportunity for this transition.
Turning it into productive unwind time instead of just torture.
Exactly. Ideas range from listening to audiobooks, choosing fiction to escape into a different world, or nonfiction if you prefer using that time for learning or personal growth, to simply listening to music. Music, as we know, is a powerful and accessible stress reliever.
I've found a good audiobook on the drive home can be a game changer, totally pulling my mind out of the day's loop.
It's an effective mental distraction with a positive outcome. Another technique mentioned is practicing gratitude during the commute.
Gratitude. While stuck in traffic.
Well, yeah, mentally listing things you're grateful for. This conscious shift in perspective moves your mind away from dwelling on work stresses and can prepare you to enter your home in a more positive, appreciative state, ready to engage with your loved ones.
Arriving home in a better mood, that's a direct win. I can see that.
A related and increasingly important step in this transition is consciously unplugging, creating distance from your devices as soon as you can.
God, this feels almost necessary in our constantly connected world.
It really does. Our eyes and brains are just barraged by screens all day. The sources highlight the genuine need for a break. An actionable tip was simply putting your phone on airplane mode for a set period after work.
Ooh, bold move. but effective, I bet.
It immediately stops the influx of emails, notifications, and that, temptation to check work messages.
Yeah.
Precisely. While a full digital detox has broader benefits, which we'll touch on later, the immediate gain here is reducing the distractions that can pull you back into work mode and allowing your mind to begin its winding down process without constant interruption.
Okay, so we've talked about setting boundaries, creating rituals, using the commute. What about the activities you engage in once you're actually home? The sources provided a wealth of ideas, starting with physical and sensory release.
Yes, these are techniques that use your body and senses to help shed the accumulated stress. Simple breathing exercises are a fundamental one mentioned.
It always comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But does taking a deep breath really do that much? Is it overhyped?
Well, the sources explain that calming breathing techniques are incredibly effective, not just as a quick fix in the moment, but especially when practiced regularly.
Ah, regularly.
Yes, they take just a few minutes, can be done literally anywhere, making them a highly accessible tool for resetting your nervous system. They're a direct way to influence your body's stress response.
How do you get the most out of them? Like, what's the proper way?
It's pretty straightforward. Find a comfortable position standing, sitting with your back supported, or lying down. Loosen any clothing that feels tight or restrictive.
Okay.
If lying down, let your arms rest slightly away from your body, palms up, legs straight, or maybe knees bent. If sitting or standing, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart.
Got it. Position set. Then focus on the breath itself.
Allow your breath to flow naturally deep into your belly without forcing it. Breathe in gently through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. The key is gentle, regular breathing. Some people find it helpful to count steadily, perhaps from 1 to 5, on both the inhale and the exhale to regulate the pace.
Okay.
But don't worry if you can't reach 5 initially. Just find a comfortable rhythm and focus on the sensation of the breath. Aim to practice for at least 5 minutes.
Just 5 minutes for a reset. That sounds incredibly achievable, even on a bad day.
And the impact can be significant over time. Beyond focused breathing, physical activity and movement are highlighted repeatedly in the sources.
Especially after a day spent sitting, hunching over a keyboard.
Absolutely. The benefits are wide-ranging. It's excellent for clearing your head, helping you physically switch off from sedentary work, and providing a healthy, productive outlet for releasing pent-up stress and tension in your body.
Does it have to be like an intense gym session or marathon training?
Not at all. The examples provided in the sources demonstrate the flexibility here. Walking especially emphasizing being in nature or around trees for added benefit.
Ah, nature bathing.
Yeah. Running, dancing, weightlifting, engaging in team sports. Someone specifically mentioned cycling, noting how e-bikes can be a game changer, making longer rides more accessible and enjoyable. Even simple stretching was noted as effective.
So the message seems to be just find a way to move your body that you actually enjoy. Don't force yourself into something you hate.
Exactly. Flexibility is key. Even short bursts of movement, like 5-10 minutes on a stationary bike or treadmill, were mentioned as being beneficial. The most important factor is consistency and finding something that resonates with you. And this links back to the idea of hobbies. Physical leisure activities can reduce that feeling of exhaustion and the need to recover at bedtime, directly combating factors associated with burnout.
Okay, shifting from movement to pure sensory experience, what did the sources suggest for soothing the senses?
These are practices designed to soothe and promote deep relaxation by engaging the senses. The classic example that came up was taking a hot bath or shower.
Ah, the ultimate decompressor for many. Can't beat it sometimes.
Right. One source painted this lovely picture of creating a luxurious experience, lighting a candle, adding Epsom salts or a bath bomb, even adding fresh eucalyptus to the shower for aromatherapy. Apparently you can find that at most grocery stores.
Really? Eucalyptus in the shower?
Yeah. Yeah. Setting mood lighting, listening to calming music or a podcast, or even reading a book. Having fluffy, clean towels and a comfortable robe and slippers ready. It's about consciously engaging your 5 senses in a way that feels natural and comforting.
Creating a complete sensory cocoon to just wash the day away. I like it.
Precisely. Other sensory experiences mentioned included using a sauna or spending time in a pool, whether after a workout or as a standalone relaxation activity. And as we noted for the commute, simply listening to music at home is a simple yet powerful stress reliever.
And pets. Pets came up as a huge one, right?
Unsurprisingly, the simple, uncomplicated joy of interacting with pets, petting a cat or dog, playing with a rabbit, how they instinctively seem to know when you need comfort and how their presence just brightens your mood. There was even a very specific, heartwarming anecdote about the de-stressing power of, wait for it, kissing a cat's belly.
Uh-huh. Okay, that's very specific, but it illustrates how these small interactions can have a surprisingly big impact.
Whatever provides that sense of peace. Gardening or just puttering around in your yard was another activity mentioned as being calming and connecting you with nature. The sources reassure that you don't need to have a green thumb to start. Easy plants like basil are apparently a great entry point.
I've attempted basil. Maybe the key is just, actually remembering to water it.
Huh. Give it another shot. And somewhat surprisingly, even simple routine chores were noted.
Chores, like cleaning. How is that relaxing?
Well, think about things like watering plants, brushing your pet, or maybe vacuuming a single room. The mindlessness of these tasks, combined with a clear start and end point, can be incredibly effective for clearing your head without requiring complex thought or effort.
Huh. Like productive, low-stakes meditation. I can kind of see that.
Exactly. And finally, connecting this to the idea of pleasures from positive psychology, intentionally treating yourself to small things that lift your mood and reduce stress.
Little acts of self-kindness. We all need more of those.
Yes. A comforting cup of tea, watching a favorite comedy show, taking that long walk you enjoy, a soothing bath. The sources suggest mixing these up to maintain that feeling of novelty and specialness. You've earned these moments of enjoyment after a tough day.
Now, the sources also included observations about how some people use substances for de-stressing, and it's important we report this impartially based on what was presented.
Absolutely. It came up, so we need to cover it. The sources mentioned the use of both cannabis and alcohol by individuals seeking to unwind and de-stress after work.
Okay. What did the sources say about cannabis use for this purpose?
Various forms were noted, including smoking, edibles, and hash brownies. Some users felt it offered a superior way to take the edge off compared to alcohol, specifically mentioning a lack of anxiety or hangover effects they experience with drinking.
Interesting comparison.
Yeah, and one anecdotal account cited it helping with physical ailments like rheumatoid arthritis, which allowed someone to return to hobbies they loved, which then, further aided their stress relief. Preference for specific types like organic heirloom weed for a milder, more relaxing buzz was also mentioned.
And how was alcohol discussed in this context?
Alcohol was primarily discussed in the context of the common work hard, play hard mindset, where heavy drinking can become a go-to for stress relief.
Right. The after-work drinks culture.
Exactly. However, the sources underscored its potential negative impacts, particularly its detrimental effect on sleep quality, which is especially problematic for those already struggling with anxiety.
Ah, the sleep disruption. That's key.
Huge. One source presented alcohol, especially in patterns of heavy use, as a leading preventable cause of death, framing the relaxation it might offer as coming at a significant cost to overall health and well-being.
That's a powerful cautionary note. Puts it in perspective.
It does. The sources also pointed out a potential vicious cycle, particularly for individuals with social anxiety who might use alcohol for liquid courage. This pattern, according to the sources, more than quadruples the risk of developing an alcohol use disorder.
Wow. Quadruples.
Yeah. Other issues mentioned were the added calories and sugars, especially in cocktails, noting that sugar itself can exacerbate anxiety and that alcohol can worsen symptoms of both anxiety and depression.
So while acknowledging that people use these substances, the sources also clearly outline the potential downsides, particularly for alcohol's impact on sleep, overall health, and anxiety itself. It's not a simple solution.
Exactly. The emphasis was on recognizing unhealthy patterns of use, the importance of moderation, and the critical need to seek professional help if dealing with dependency or withdrawal symptoms. We're just presenting this information purely as it appeared in the sources, without endorsing or judging its use.
Okay, understood. Moving on from the physical and sensory, the sources also delve deeply into strategies for engaging the mind and processing emotions to transition away from the workday.
Right. This is about shifting our internal state. A practice that came up frequently, building on the idea of disconnecting, is the digital detox.
Which we briefly touched on with putting your phone on airplane mode. This is more involved.
Right, but this is a more intentional, often longer-term break from electronic gadgets, phones, laptops, social media. It's gained prominence because our lives are so saturated with technology, and consciously stepping away offers distinct benefits.
What are the specific benefits the sources highlighted? Why bother?
They detailed 5 key benefits, explaining the mechanism behind each. First, improved sleep.
Okay, we keep coming back to sleep.
Because it's foundational. The blue light emitted by screens, particularly close to bedtime, interferes with the production of melatonin, the hormone that helps us feel sleepy. Disconnecting from devices before bed has been shown to measurably improve both the quality and quantity of sleep.
So it's the direct physiological effect, not just in your head.
Exactly. Second, boosted productivity. Constant notifications and messages fragment our attention. Reducing screen time removes these distractions, allowing for better focus and concentration when you are engaging with tasks. One example referenced volunteers on expeditions who had a no-phone policy and noted their improved focus.
Less pings mean more concentration. Makes sense.
Precisely. Third, reduced stress and anxiety. Excessive screen time is linked to higher levels of stress, anxiety, and even melancholy. Giving your mind a break allows it to quiet down and function more effectively, reducing phenomena like FOMO, the fear of missing out, and the stress of constant social comparison online.
Less time scrolling through carefully curated lives, less feeling like you're not doing enough or your life isn't good enough.
It helps break that cycle. Fourth, better physical health. Reducing sedentary time in front of screens can alleviate physical issues like eye strain, headaches, and poor posture. It also encourages more physical activity, which has downstream benefits for cardiovascular health and reducing the risk of chronic diseases.
You're more likely to get up and move if you're not glued to a screen. Simple as that.
That's the idea. And fifth, stronger relationships. Putting devices away creates space for face-to-face interactions, which are fundamental for building and maintaining strong connections. It helps you avoid being physically present but mentally absent, lost in your screen.
We've all seen that or done it.
And encourages more meaningful, present conversations with the people you care about.
These benefits make a compelling case for unplugging. But how do you actually do it in a world where tech is, well, everywhere and necessary?
Yeah, it's tough. The sources offered practical strategies. Setting clear boundaries is crucial. Decide when and how you'll use technology. This might mean no phones at the dinner table, setting timers for social media, or designating certain times as phone-free, like the first hour you're home.
Okay, boundaries.
Find alternative activities. Swap screen time for something else you enjoy, like reading a physical book, cooking, gardening, or going for a walk without your phone. Having appealing alternatives makes the transition easier.
That's key. You need something else to fill the space productively or enjoyably, not just sit there twitching for your phone.
Right. Utilize apps and built-in functions. Many phones and computers have features that allow you to track usage, set limits, block distracting websites, or schedule downtime where apps are inaccessible. Use the tools available.
Okay.
Create accountability. Tell a friend or family member about your intention to detox, or find online communities focused on digital well-being for support. And finally, start small.
Don't try to go cold turkey immediately.
Probably not if you're highly connected. Begin by turning off non-essential notifications, designating short tech-free periods like 30 minutes, and gradually increase your tolerance for being disconnected. Baby steps.
Those are concrete steps people can implement. Okay, another powerful mental strategy highlighted is journaling.
Ah, journaling, yes. The sources describe it as a deeply effective tool for stress relief. It involves writing down your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. This process helps you confront and organize the chaotic whirlwind in your head by externalizing it onto paper or, a screen.
Getting it out of your head.
Exactly.
Right.
It creates a safe, private space for introspection, reflection, and emotional catharsis. And the benefits are numerous, with the sources listing 7 key ones. First, it helps you identify the actual causes of stress.
How so?
By writing freely, you might uncover underlying stressors you weren't fully conscious of. Perhaps you thought your stress was about one deadline, but journaling reveals it's really about feeling unsupported by a team member, for example. It encourages honest self-communication.
Okay.
2, it helps process and release emotions. The journal is a judgment-free zone where you can express feelings like anger, frustration, or worry without consequence. This act of acknowledging and releasing these emotions diminishes their intensity and makes them easier to understand and manage, preventing physical tension from building up.
Right.
3, it helps you identify stress triggers. By keeping a record of days or situations that feel particularly stressful, you can start to recognize patterns that contribute to your stress levels. Maybe you notice every time you skip lunch, your afternoon is incredibly stressful. Once identified, you can develop strategies to avoid or better cope with those triggers.
Okay, pattern recognition. 4.
4, it helps you manage stress more efficiently. By reflecting on past entries, you can see what coping mechanisms worked and what didn't, helping you make better choices in the future. Setting and tracking self-care goals in writing can also be a powerful motivator.
Makes sense.
5, it provides a safe space to express yourself fully. You can rant, complain, curse on the page without negative repercussions, unlike maybe expressing that same frustration directly to a colleague or boss. After the initial venting, you can then think more constructively about how to address the stressors.
Get it out, then think clearly. 6.
6, it deepens self-understanding. Journaling offers a unique opportunity to examine what you're feeling and why, connecting with yourself on a deeper level and gaining insight into your own reactions and motivations.
And number 7?
And 7, it allows for practicing positive self-talk. You can use your journal to review your successes, no matter how small, building confidence in your ability to cope. Writing positive affirmations or using prompts focused on self-esteem can actively boost positive feelings and counteract negative thought patterns.
Wow, that's a lot of benefits from just writing stuff down. And the sources mention that you don't have to stare at a blank page. Prompts can help get you started.
Yes, exactly. Journal prompts are questions or statements designed to inspire writing and guide your exploration, especially when you're unsure where to start or want to delve into a specific area.
Like what kind of prompts?
Oh, the sources gave examples of the types of prompts you might use. Things like, where do I feel stress in my body right now? Or what's one small step I can take tomorrow? Prompts about reframing negative situations, visualizing a calm state, reflecting on past successes, identifying triggers and coping mechanisms, thinking about setting boundaries or who your support network is. Prompts focused on positive affirmations or self-compassion. Exploring your history with stress through prompts can provide significant insight into your current reactions and how you might change them.
Those sound like they could unlock some real insights. Any tips for making journaling a consistent practice, not just something you try once?
Consistency is key, definitely. Even if it's just for 10-20 minutes, set a realistic schedule that works for you. The sources noted that various types exist: gratitude journaling, art journaling, mood tracking, bullet journaling. So explore and find a style that feels engaging. The goal is often to write to free your mind, so stream of consciousness is perfectly fine.
Don't worry about perfect grammar.
Exactly. Be completely honest with yourself. It's private. Reviewing past entries periodically is helpful for learning and tracking progress. Use prompts to keep it fresh, and remember, it can be fun, short, and sweet. And integrating it with other stress-relieving activities can make it more enjoyable.
It really does sound like a powerful tool for managing your internal world.
It truly is. Another fundamental mental strategy is mindfulness. Defined simply as focusing on the present moment, intentionally bringing your attention back from dwelling on past stresses or worrying about future anxieties.
So actively choosing not to let your mind get sucked back into the workday loop. Being here now.
Precisely. The benefit of cultivating mindfulness is a greater capacity to leave job stress psychologically at work and fully engage with and enjoy your current life. Practicing mindfulness exercises regularly builds that muscle for present moment awareness and resilience against being hijacked by stress.
And the sources included a rich variety of other mental activities people find effective, often shared in personal anecdotes, right? Not just mindfulness and journaling.
They did. Activities that absorb your attention and shift your focus. Gaming came up quite a bit. Console games like Zelda, specifically mentioned for their ability to engage through solving puzzles and discovering things. Even simpler iPad games.
Yeah.
Elaborate adult puzzles were noted as being challenging but fun ways to focus the mind.
Escapism through focused engagement. Makes sense.
Exactly. Reading was popular, whether using a Kindle or accessing free digital sources. It was seen as both an investment in personal growth and a reliable way to forget about work on commutes or before bed. Watching TV shows or videos, music videos, episodes, films on commutes, or simply zoning out on a comfortable chair watching YouTube videos at home, the classic way many people visually disconnect.
Sometimes you just need to zone out. Nothing wrong with that.
And that's valid. Listening to podcasts was also mentioned, everything from educational ones to story-based narratives or niche topics, seen as part of a routine providing learning or entertainment. And one source delved into a deeper spiritual or philosophical practice.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Taoism and meditation were presented as a path to finding inner peace, staying grounded, and handling anxiety. Described as a profound meditation practice, with references to specific books and authors who approach it in practical terms, likened to acupuncture without needles for its effect on internal balance.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah. The spiritual aspect was acknowledged, finding a closer connection to one's God or religion for some, while noting its non-denominational accessibility. It highlights how different paths can lead to cultivating internal calm.
It's fascinating how many different routes people take to quiet the mind after work. It's not one size fits all.
Not at all. And underpinning all these mental strategies is the crucial role of fueling your body correctly. The sources specifically address the significant connection between diet and levels of stress and anxiety.
So what we eat can directly influence how anxious we feel. It's not just about general health.
Absolutely. The sources identified certain foods and substances that can contribute to increased anxiety. Caffeine, for many, is a major culprit. While it provides that perceived boost, consuming too much can trigger or worsen anxious feelings.
How does caffeine impact anxiety on a biological level? What's happening?
Well, the research explained it in compelling detail. Excess caffeine activates specific regions in the brain that process threat. They even mention the midbrain periaqueductal gray matter, the area that gets activated when your brain perceives like a predator is closing in.
Okay.
So it essentially puts your brain into a higher state of alert, like a built-in alarm system. And to make matters worse, it also seems to suppress another brain region that is supposed to help regulate and calm anxiety.
Wow, that's a powerful insight. It's not just making you jittery, it's literally triggering the threat response system.
Exactly. In terms of consumption, less than 100 milligrams of caffeine a day seems to have little effect on anxiety. Between 100-400 milligram yields, mixed results depending on the individual, but above 400 milligram a day, studies consistently show a significant increase in anxiety symptoms for many people.
And a single large coffee could easily put you over that 400 milligram limit.
Yes, a large Starbucks venti, depending on the brew, can easily exceed the 400 milligram limit on its own. An espresso capsule is typically much lower, maybe 60-80 milligrams. The sources noted that even decaf coffee contains small amounts, maybe 215 milligrams.
Good to know.
For those looking to reduce caffeine, alternatives like mushroom powders, like reishi or lion's mane mixed into hot drinks were suggested as caffeine-free options. And if you're cutting back significant intake, weaning slowly is advised to avoid withdrawal headaches or fatigue.
Okay. We've already discussed alcohol, but the nutrition sources reinforced its link to anxiety as well, right?
They did. Regular alcohol intake was highlighted as significantly disrupting sleep quality. There's that sleep connection again, which is a major issue for people struggling with anxiety. While the work hard, play hard culture might push heavy drinking as a stress reliever, the source reiterated that alcohol is a leading preventable cause of death, underscoring that any perceived relaxation comes with a significant price tag for health.
Right.
Using alcohol to manage social anxiety was specifically called out as a pattern that more than quadruples the risk of developing an alcohol use disorder. The sources also noted the empty calories and high sugar content in many cocktails, emphasizing that sugar itself can also worsen anxiety. The clear message was that alcohol can exacerbate both anxiety and depression. Moderation was stressed, and professional help for withdrawal symptoms was strongly advised.
And something less obvious, artificial sweeteners. They can affect anxiety.
Yes, the sources mentioned that artificial sweeteners have no nutritional value and can negatively impact gut bacteria balance, which in turn can influence mood and anxiety. Aspartame was specifically linked to increased anxiety in some individuals, leading to advice to avoid or at least moderate its consumption.
Okay, so avoiding those culprits is important. What about foods that can help decrease anxiety, the good stuff?
Fortunately, yes. There are several key dietary components identified in the sources that can have a positive impact. Dietary fiber is a significant one.
Fiber, like for digestive health. How does that help anxiety?
Yes, but its benefits extend far beyond just digestion. Fiber decreases inflammation throughout the body, including within the brain. Evidence from the sources indicates that people with anxiety often have elevated levels of inflammation, impacting areas like the amygdala, which plays a role in processing emotions and anxiety. Diets high in fiber have been associated with a reduced risk of depression, anxiety, and stress.
So more fiber, potentially less brain inflammation, less anxiety. Where can we get more fiber?
Primarily from plant-based sources. Vegetables, fruits, lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, and healthy whole grains. Fiber isn't found in animal or seafood proteins. Prioritizing vegetable intake helps feed and support a healthy gut microbiota, which, as research is increasingly showing, plays a direct role in the gut-brain connection and can influence mood and anxiety levels.
So fiber helps calm the gut, which in turn helps calm the brain, that gut-brain axis.
That's the emerging understanding presented. Exactly. Another important anxiety-reducing food group is omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the long-chain N3-PUFAs found primarily in fish and seafood. Research highlights their anti-inflammatory and neurochemical effects on the brain.
Were there specific study examples? How strong is the effect?
Yes, one study mentioned involved medical students, a pretty stressed group, who were given 2.5 grams per day of omega-3s with a specific emphasis on a higher dose of EPA, 2085 milligram, relative to DHA, 348 milligrams. This group showed a 20% reduction in anxiety symptoms and 14% lower levels of an inflammatory marker called interleukin-6 compared to a control group getting a placebo.
Wow, 20% reduction in anxiety just from omega-3s. That's significant, especially for med students before exams.
It highlights the potential power of these compounds. Good sources include fatty fish and seafood. Plant-based options like algae, sea vegetables, chia seeds, and flax seeds also provide omega-3s, though the body converts the type found in plants, ALA, into EPA and DHA less efficiently than getting them directly from fish.
Okay, good to know. What else helps with that gut-brain connection? You mentioned gut bacteria.
Great. Aged, fermented, and cultured foods are key. These are natural sources of beneficial live bacteria probiotics that enhance healthy gut function. By supporting a healthy gut microbiome, these foods can play a role in decreasing anxiety levels.
Like natural probiotics in food form. What kind of foods?
Exactly. Plain yogurt with active cultures is a great source, provided it hasn't been heat-treated. Watch out for things like yogurt-covered raisins. The heat kills the good bacteria. It's also really important to choose plain yogurt without added sugar, as excess sugar counteracts the probiotic benefit and, as we mentioned, can worsen anxiety itself.
Got it. Plain yogurt. What else?
Other sources include kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, miso, tempeh, apple cider vinegar, and other fermented vegetables. Lots of options.
And the golden spice.
Turmeric.
Turmeric, yes. The sources indicated it has been shown to help lower anxiety. A crucial point emphasized is that you must combine turmeric with a pinch of black pepper.
Why black pepper?
The piperine in black pepper dramatically increases the bioavailability of curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, making it much more effective.
Right.
Like hundreds or thousands of times more effective.
So the pepper is essential for the turmeric to actually work effectively for this anxiety benefit. It activates it.
Absolutely vital for activation. If you don't cook with turmeric daily, you can add maybe half a teaspoon to smoothies, soups, tea, or chia pudding, always with that pinch of black pepper.
So the clear message is that our food choices have a real, tangible impact on our stress levels and ability to manage anxiety. It's not just about weight or heart health. They significantly influence your body's physiological response to stressors and can be a powerful tool for cultivating a calmer life. The recipe for turmeric roasted cauliflower steaks with zucchini macadamia pesto mentioned in the sources serves as a perfect example of integrating these principles, cauliflower and zucchini for fiber, macadamia nuts adding plant-based fiber, and turmeric with black pepper for anxiety reduction and feeding beneficial gut microbes.
Sounds good too. It wraps up the nutrition science beautifully into a practical example. Okay, beyond these specific techniques for body and mind, a major theme woven throughout the sources is the vital importance of making your non-work time truly meaningful, filling it with engaging, positive activities, and fostering strong connections with others.
This might sound obvious, but the sources argue compellingly that hobbies aren't just something for people with abundant free time or quiet lives. They are, in fact, potentially more important for those with busy, stressful lives, precisely because of their powerful stress-relieving benefits.
It's not a frivolous luxury. It's a necessary counterbalance to the demands of work stress.
That's the strong case the sources make, and they detail several health benefits, both psychological and physical. One is simply providing a structured break. Hobbies offer scheduled time free from the responsibilities and demands of work and daily life. For people feeling overwhelmed, this is crucial. It provides a break with a purpose, making it feel less like wasted time and easier to allow yourself to disengage from work thoughts.
That reframing is really helpful. A break with purpose.
It is. Another benefit is experiencing eustress, the healthy, positive kind of stress. For those whose jobs might be monotonous or feel draining, hobbies can provide a healthy dose of excitement and challenge. This breaks up monotony and adds meaning without feeling like work. It's the right amount of challenge to keep things interesting and engaging.
Providing mental stimulation in a different, enjoyable way.
Yes. Many hobbies also inherently involve a social outlet. Things like joining a running club, a book group, a knitting circle, or a recreational sports league. These hobbies connect you with others, providing the essential stress relief and meaning that comes from social connection and shared interests. Strong relationships are a powerful buffer against stress.
So you get the hobby benefit and the social connection benefit. A double win.
A double win. Positive psychology distinguishes between pleasures and gratifications, and hobbies often provide both. Pleasures are activities that bring simple fun and enjoyment in the moment, lifting your mood like listening to music or taking a bath.
The little joys we mentioned earlier, easy to access.
Right. Gratifications, on the other hand, are activities that deeply engage your personal skills and strengths, often leading to a state psychologists call flow. This is that near meditative state where you become totally absorbed in the activity, losing track of time and feeling completely removed from your everyday stressors.
That feeling of being completely immersed in something you love doing, where hours can feel like minutes.
Exactly. Many hobbies, particularly creative or skill-based ones, offer this flow experience. If you're looking for more happiness and less stress, engaging in activities that bring you gratification through flow is a direct route.
And finally, the concepts of staving off burnout. How do hobbies help there?
Hobbies act as a crucial buffer against the cumulative impact of chronic stress. For people in demanding roles, hobbies provide a necessary outlet and something positive to anticipate outside of work. Some research indicates that individuals who consistently engage in physical or social leisure activities report feeling less need to actively recover from their day at bedtime, which directly mitigates negative health outcomes strongly linked to burnout, such as persistent fatigue and psychosomatic complaints.
So hobbies aren't just a nice to have, they're a fundamental protective measure against the long-term physical and mental effects of stress.
They are essential for maintaining well-being and sustainability in the long run. And the sheer diversity of examples found in the sources, particularly from the personal accounts shared online, underscores that there is a hobby out there for everyone. It doesn't have to be fancy or expensive.
What were some of the favorites or maybe more unique ones that people shared?
Oh, there was a wide range. Creative and making activities included things like baking. One person mentioned specifically working through the recipes on a popular baking website like Sally's Baking Addiction as a satisfying project. Cross-stitching, restoring antique padlocks, talk about specific, and general crafting.
Restoring padlocks. Okay.
Yeah.
Learning and mental hobbies like reading, journaling, reiterated here as a source of gratification, listening to podcasts, and puzzles. A mix of using your hands and engaging your brain.
Exactly. Physical and active ones were popular. Walking, running, cycling, with that interesting mention of e-bikes, making it more accessible basketball drills. Just shooting hoops, lifting weights, stretching, using a stationary bike, team sports, fishing, and even getting into remote-controlled cars.
RC cars. That really shows the breadth of possibilities, whatever floats your boat.
It just has to be something you enjoy. Nature and animal-related activities. Gardening and tending to plants, taking walks in places with trees, petting and playing with pets, cats, dogs, rabbits, including surprising details like basic rabbit care tips about diet, bunny-proofing the house, and their social needs, and bird watching.
Pets really do come up again and again as sources of comfort and simple joy.
They provide such simple, unconditional presence. Relaxation and sensory activities included taking baths or showers, using a sauna, listening to music, singing with the key note that you absolutely do not have to be good to enjoy the act of singing.
Right. Sing like no one's listening.
Exactly. Watching TV, movies, or videos, simply chilling or vegetating, as one person honestly put it, enjoying specific comfort drinks like tea, or neutrally noting again that some found relaxation in wine, whiskey, or beer, and lounging in a hammock.
It runs the gamut from high energy to complete relaxation. The key is just finding your personal fit, what genuinely helps you recharge.
Precisely. And hand in hand with finding engaging activities is the critical role of enlisting support and actively cultivating relationships.
The people in your life provide a vital buffer against stress.
Yes. Having supportive individuals you can talk to about work stress if you need to, someone who can validate your feelings, maybe help you brainstorm solutions, or simply listen without judgment while you vent. Someone who can gently redirect you if they notice you getting bogged down by work thoughts outside of hours.
A gentle nudge back to the present.
Exactly. And of course, the sources emphasize that if you're feeling truly overwhelmed, seeking professional help from a doctor or therapist is a sign of strength, not weakness. Don't hesitate.
Absolutely. And beyond talking about stress, just making dedicated time for the people you care about, right?
Face-to-face connection is fundamental for strong relationships, and strong relationships are one of the most powerful protective factors against stress and burnout. And finally, the sources touched on the impact of your physical space, creating a soothing home environment.
Your home as a sanctuary, not just another place with demands.
Exactly. A home that is designed to soothe and comfort makes it significantly easier to let go of stress when you enter it. The sources noted that clutter, even at a subtle level, can contribute to feelings of stress and being overwhelmed, so actively decluttering your space can make a real difference. The goal is to make your home feel like a haven, a place where the stresses of the outside world naturally begin to fade away.
It all ties back to reinforcing that boundary between work and home and making the home side of the boundary as inviting, comfortable, and restorative as possible.
That's the core idea. Ultimately, making your non-work time count, filling the rest of your life with engaging activities, meaningful connections, and healthy habits is one of the most potent strategies for leaving job stress behind. It's about consciously balancing the demands of work with leisure, hobbies, nurturing relationships, taking care of your body, pursuing personal goals, and simply being present to enjoy life's moments.
So looking back at this deep dive, we've really explored how insidious work stress can be, how it follows us beyond the office walls or the closed laptop and into our personal lives. But the clear message from all these sources is that while it's a common challenge, we have significant agency in creating boundaries and actively unwinding.
It starts with those intentional transitions. Tying up loose ends before you leave, establishing meaningful post-work rituals, however small, and wisely using your commute as a buffer, not just an endurance test.
Then, engaging your body and senses through simple yet powerful acts like conscious breathing, getting regular physical activity in a way you actually enjoy, and incorporating soothing sensory experiences like baths or connecting with your pets, while also being mindful of substances and their true impact on your well-being, both positive and negative.
And crucially, tending to your mental and emotional state. Implementing digital detox practices to minimize distractions and reclaim your attention, using journaling as a powerful tool to process thoughts and feelings, cultivating mindfulness to stay present, and enriching your life with a diverse range of hobbies and activities that genuinely absorb you and bring joy and that feeling of flow. Fueling your body correctly with anxiety-reducing foods like fiber, omega-3s, and fermented foods, while being aware of dietary factors like caffeine and excess sugar that can exacerbate stress, that also plays a significant role in your capacity to cope.
And finally, building a strong support system through your relationships and consciously creating a home environment that feels like a sanctuary.
Right.
The overarching insight from all these sources is that there isn't one single magic bullet, but finding the combination of practices that works uniquely for you is absolutely key.
Right.
And it doesn't require grand gestures or a ton of money. Often, it's the small, consistent actions that build resilience and create lasting change. While stress might feel like an unavoidable part of modern work life, these intentional strategies empower us to build that necessary separation, reinforcing the powerful concept that you can learn to leave work stress at the door, or at least lessen its grip significantly.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But here's where it gets really interesting. A final thought, maybe. What if we flip the script entirely?
Yeah.
What if the time you dedicate to not working, to your hobbies, your relationships, your physical and mental well-being isn't just recovery time needed to survive the next workday? What if that time is actually the essential fuel, the source of energy, perspective, and meaning that makes your work and your entire life not just sustainable, but truly fulfilling? What small, intentional choice will you make today to consciously claim that time back and genuinely leave work stress at the door?